It was framed as a call for common sense from someone who loves guns but hates murder. A-list actor and Uvalde, Texas native Matthew McConaughey unleashed a show-stoppingly vehement call to action from the White House podium. It was an arresting outpouring of emotion today after elementary school children were slaughtered right in his own hometown. Nancy Cordes shows us.
We have a life preservation problem on our hands.
Uvalde's most famous former resident took the podium this afternoon to convey the anguish his hometown had shared with him.
We start by making the loss of these lives matter.
His wife, Camilla, carried with her the shoes that belonged to one of the 10-year-old victims, Maite Rodriguez, who had emblazoned them with a hand-drawn heart to symbolize her love of nature.
These are the same green Converse on her feet that turned out to be the only clear evidence that could identify her after the shooting. How about that?
The parents of another victim, 10-year-old Alethea Ramirez, gave him some of her artwork.
Now, this particular drawing is a self-portrait, all right, of Alethea drawing with her friend in heaven looking down on her, drawing the very same picture.
McConaughey grew up in Uvalde and learned to shoot in Uvalde. He has considered running for office in Texas and describes himself not as Republican or Democrat, but as aggressively centrist.
Find a middle ground, the place where most of us Americans live anyway.
He came to Washington this week to push for measures that polls show most Americans support, like expanding background checks and raising the minimum purchasing age for semi-automatic weapons from 18 to 21.
Responsible gun owners are fed up with the Second Amendment being abused and hijacked by some deranged individuals. These regulations are not a step back. They're a step forward for a civil society and the Second Amendment.
That argument has not swayed most Republican leaders. In fact, they just announced their opposition to a red flag bill in the House that would allow guns to be taken away from people who pose a risk to themselves or to others. Those Republican leaders say such a bill would trample on Americans' Second Amendment rights. Nancy Cordes, CBS News, the White House.